continued to drink like crazy and just party and do nothing to help myself. And eventually it caught up with me, and I ended up having melanoma, which is a skin cancer.
Welcome back to another episode of Brutally Honest with your host, me, Nico Ortiz. Today's podcast is going to be definitely 100% different, which I think you guys are going to like. Today, we have a content creator who's pretty big in the world of yoga. They're a really good friend, and it is my personal assistant, Katharine.
Hi.
For those of you who don't know, Katharine is my assistant. You've been working for me for over a year now.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Been over a year.
Which is crazy, because it does not feel like that.
No.
A lot of you guys follow me on Twitch or are in the Discord or anything like that. You guys have all talked to Katharine. It's one of the sub goals. You guys are like, bring Katharine up here. We want to ask her questions. So everyone's like, oh, you got to get Katharine on the podcast. We want to know more about her. We're going to interrogate her. And I'm like, chill. You guys can ask questions. So if you guys are not already in the Discord, we did pull some questions, which we'll get to later or in a little bit. But we've been working together for over a year. And I guess the first thing we should talk about, I guess, is like how originally we had met. It'd be funny to get it from your perspective. How did that go for you? If you want to lead that, and then I can fill in the blanks, because it's a really funny, weird, not weird in a bad way, but like
Yeah.
Like that's how it happened.
Yeah, I would say it was quite an unexpected road for us from our first meeting, right? Like, basically, you came with a friend of mine to my birthday party, my 26th birthday party, and it was just a dinner, nothing too crazy, and you came along, and I actually wasn't familiar with you back then, but that was also 2 years ago. So
yeah, that was like at the start of it.
Yeah.
I had just moved to LA, and then one of our mutual friends was like, hey, like, I know you don't like to, which I do not like hanging out with people I didn't know. It was like my first month being in LA, and already, like, after a week of being there, I was like, everyone here is an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay in my house and make content all day. But they're like, oh, it's my friend's birthday. Like, do you want to just come and hang out and chill? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I actually got all my like workload done. Like, I'll go. But sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I wasn't familiar with you, but of course, the more the merrier for my birthday. But it's always chill. I'm not about the crazy stuff. So it was a relaxed evening, and we just ate, and I spoke to you very briefly. Like, you weren't, I was more catching up with my friend, and there was more girls too. So
I was antisocial. Pretty
yeah,
much.
you were
I
quiet.
basically, I was like, oh, that's the birthday girl. I was like, hi, my name's Nico. Happy birthday. It's very nice to meet you. And then I kind of just, not weird, I'm like totally okay with sitting in silence and just chilling. Because I was there, I was just like sipping on like a little bit of wine. I was eating my food. And I was just chilling. I was like, everybody's fine. Everybody's good here.
Yeah.
This is a chill vibe. Like, if we wanted to talk about how the first experience went, like, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, you were there. I wouldn't have thought twice, really, other than
I was a stranger. I was an absolute stranger.
Yeah, which is fine. That happens, right? So you have someone join in on a birthday or whatever until the bill came, and then you just paid for everything. And then I was like,
okay, yeah.
And then I felt bad. It's like, oh gosh, like I didn't expect that.
I'll tell it from my perspective, but friend came over. They're like, hey, like, come to my friend's birthday party. I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I'll go. Whatever. LA is different. People, like, we all know California's its own state. People in LA look different, talk different, and you can tell they're from LA. And they're huge walking pieces of shit. I didn't want to be like, oh, everybody at these parties going to be like that. That's why I keep to myself. Introduced myself to everybody. I said hi. Then I just kind of went into like casual chill mode, because I have no problem being by myself and no one talking to me. Like, I'm chill, and I'm not going to go on my phone either. I'll just like restaurant gaze. I'll look at people and I'll be like, oh, they look like they're having a good time. Like, oh, you know what? Cool. I think you saw that I was like by myself and I was quiet, and then you were like very kind. You were like, oh, so like, Nico, what do you do and everything? And I was like, oh, that's very sweet of her. And immediately I was like, okay, well, she's not the typical LA type of person, and she seems really nice, and it's her birthday. So, okay, we can have some type of conversation right now. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like, I think I told you originally, I was like, I do photography stuff. Because I never, ever tell people I'm a content creator, a YouTuber. Like, if you already like my stuff, you know who I am. But like, I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, I'm a TikToker, YouTuber, content. I just say I do photography. That's usually my go-to. And I look like a nerd. But you were nice, you were kind. And I was like, oh, you know what? She seems like well-rounded. She has a good like head on her shoulders. And you just immediately were like very structured with your conversation. The night was coming to an end, and there's a few reasons I paid the bill. Okay. One is I will typically pay the bill with whoever I'm with, however big the party is. I don't care because one, I like to eat whatever I want, waste whatever I want. Cause sometimes like if I'm like sitting down, I'm getting creative, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm like not hungry anymore. I'm like coming up with content ideas. And I feel bad when like someone else pays the full bill or like we split the bill and then it just kind of weird, right? And then splitting the bill is always an awkward thing. It was weird because it was your birthday. And when the waiter came, they were like, okay, how do you want to do this? And it's your birthday, but everyone's looking around like who's typical for LA though. Not weird at all. Wow. But everyone's like, who wants to pay this bill kind of? And there was like a weird pause in like the table. And I was like, it's this girl's birthday. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? In my head, right? I just kind of looked at the guy and I was just like this. And I'm like, looking at him, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, motherfucker, you know this means I'm going to pay the bill. So bring your ass over here. And he was nice. He's like, okay, here you go, sir. And I just like gave him my card. He came back. And then it was one of the girls that was sitting across from me. She's like, did you just pay the bill? And I was like, and then she was like, yeah. And I don't think anybody had really known at that point. And I was like, he goes, Nico pay the bill? I was like, yes, I did. It's totally fine. Happy birthday.
I think we felt bad because we didn't know you, right? And we felt like, or just it was unexpected. But you saying that makes sense. That's it's very true that is typically how LA is. It's like, oh well, who's gonna pay for this now? And it's like, you know, it is weird. So
people want you to pay because everybody's usually part of like a party or like it's like a riot, and everyone tries to. This is the most fucked up shit for those of you who have no idea of what LA is like. It's like people go to open dinner parties and they order so much shit, even shit to go so they can leave before the bill has to get paid because it all goes on like the main party's thing. It's a weird piece of shit type of environment, but that was it. Then the night ended and I was like, happy birthday. Like, hope you had a good one. And then you went about your day. I went about mine. The whole point of what we're getting to here is like how you got like how this all like kind of happened. But basically, I was like, I'm growing in my like social media content creator lifestyle. I was like, I want to be bigger. All I had, I think at the time was like, when I moved to LA, I had a YouTube channel that had like 52,000 subs. You remember these numbers. I was like, I want to grow, but I can't do it because I don't have enough time. And I was like, I need to hire an assistant. So I started looking and I tried to find like all these companies and people hiring. I was like, everyone is shit. I haven't talked to any of these people. And like one thing I've always gotten from the military is like, you have to find somebody I think with like potential and somebody you know is at least a genuine person, right? And then I like really sat down one night after like 2 or 3 days of searching. I was like, how do I do this? And I was like, how would I do it if I was like an NCO in the military again? And I was like, you literally all you have is people to your left and your right. And I was like, who do I know? Or who have I met? And it was just weird. It just popped up in my head. And I was just like, kind, genuine people in Los Angeles that I know. And I was like, wait, I didn't make any friends here because I don't like anybody. The thought of your birthday party popped up in my head. And I was like, the Katharine girl, she was very nice. And she seemed like, that's why I said like our small interaction. I was like, you seem very like level-headed. And you didn't get into an argument with somebody at the table, but like you were very like kind, soft-spoken. And then someone did something wrong and you were like, just like nipped at him kind of good. And it just went back to normal. I was like, she can be a pit bull if she needs to be. So I was like I went back to my, like our mutual friend. I was like, hey, can you reach out to Katherine? What does she do? Does she like what she does? Like, I don't know. And then you were doing... I
was working at a chiropractic office and I was actually having quite a difficult time there because, well, the owner, he was actually great when I first started and I really enjoyed it. I was teaching, I was a movement specialist. So patients would go in and get treated and then they would come to me and then I would help them recover and sort of integrate with the chiropractic care, yogic movement and all of that. Basically just helping people become more mobile, flexible, and also treating their pain with movement type of holistic care. So that's what I was doing and I actually absolutely loved it. I loved that job so much. I loved the patients I worked with and I was having a great time, but my boss...
Now I'm like, does she even like working here? No, I'm just kidding. No, you're good. Keep going.
My boss at the time started to turn. It was interesting. He just started to turn and he suddenly, I think things weren't going as well for him. maybe, I'm not sure. But
Okay.
he just started to treat everybody in the office differently, and he started to make the office very miserable.
I hate that already.
Yeah, it was so awful, and I was sad because I actually genuinely enjoyed what I was doing, and it was great for, you know, me as a yoga practitioner, holistic health specialist as well. You know, I learned so much from him, so I'll give him that, of course. But the work environment was so, I hate to use the word toxic, but I mean, it felt very toxic. I started to dread to come in because I didn't know what was next, what was going to be next, what was his thing going to be that day. And it's funny that as soon as I started to hate working there, it was like a month later that I got that message. And
really? Okay, so it was like perfect timing.
it was
pretty much
perfect timing. I needed to work there. I needed to get that experience. Truly propelled me in my career now. I believe working at that place was needed for me, but it was a perfect time for me to get out as well. So it was great when you reach out.
Wow.
And I was also thinking, hey, I could teach people online. I could teach them how to do that. I was helping so many people in the chiropractic office. I just thought I could easily show people how to do this if they don't want to pay the money, if they don't want to go into a chiropractor. I mean, people were dropping thousands of dollars, right? To have this care. It's not usually
So you were already kind of like thinking about breaking away, and you were like, okay, you know what? I want to start, like, I don't even know how to put that, like helping people. You basically wanted to do the same type of work, just not for him. And you wanted to go in-house with some type of like yoga, like what you're doing now, which we will get into. But
to sort of like piggyback off of that, my goal was to teach people how to feel amazing in their body and to know that they don't need to be in pain every day. That's not something that's normal. You know, a lot of
that
the
is
time,
so weird to hear, because all vets are like, yeah, we're in pain all the time, but it's like the most normal thing.
It's not. Normal is zero pain. And I worked with vets too. So I've worked with all kinds of different people from all kinds of different backgrounds. So I know that a lot of people think it's normal.
It all hurts. And you're like, wait, what? You're like, we're like, everything hurts.
Yeah. People coming in like hunched over, can barely walk. They're just sort of getting in there. They're miserable because they believe that every single day is going to continue to be a struggle and they're never going to get better. But with the right movement, it's possible. Obviously, depending on the situation, it's not like you can have a fractured spine. And that's why we did x-rays and stuff. But I thought that I could extract a lot of what I was doing there at the chiropractic office and share it online for a more general advice rather than more specific. Because, of course, going in and getting the diagnostic testing is important. If you have a serious condition and it needs to be diagnosed, sure.
Holy shit. Okay, we're going to spin it back really quick because that's a whole in-depth conversation. We'll definitely spin it back. You were hating work, and then I was like, hey, if you're looking for like a job, I'm looking for an assistant. Long story short, if you just are hating what you're doing or you're like, are thinking of the positive, I think that's when I was more so like a little bit more verbal. I'm like, okay, so I'm a content creator. I do a lot of social media stuff. I need some help. Could you come over? We'll conversate about this. We'll see if it's like something you would be willing to try, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. I actually, when you reached out to me, I was so excited. I knew that this was going to be very life-changing for me. I just knew, and I was like not going to not get the job. I was going to make sure I got it. And I wanted you to know that I was ready whenever.
Nice.
I was like, I will come over right now and we'll get started. I'm ready.
That's that pit bull shit I'm talking about. And people lack that drive. That's how I selected my soldiers when I was in the military. And then that's why I went at dinner, like the little like bark back that you did, I was like, ooh, okay, that's a point.
What I did. I don't remember.
People were slowly getting like a little intoxicated, and then just long story short, you didn't like scream at anybody, but you were just like, no, that's not how that works. Like, knock it off. And then, oh yeah, and I was like, okay, I forgot because I was like, if I hire somebody, I need them to be a pit bull, like, you know, whatever. But you literally came over after your work.
After work.
Dude, you had like this like chiropractor office person like outfit going on, and I was like, there's no way she likes wearing that shit every day. I was like, there's no way. I was like, I already know how to make this work. I'm gonna be like, you can wear, hear me out, whatever you want every single day.
I think you literally said you could come to work in your PJs if you wanted to. You can chill it like or come to the meetings and wear whatever you want. Like, you don't have to dress up. I think because it was ingrained in me to be very professional. So I was wearing like a lot of like the office
Wait,
gear.
you threw on the blazer you showed up in just for the meeting we were having.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was like, damn, she must really not like where she working. Because on top of that, she threw on a blazer just for our like interview, basically. Because that's the right mentality, right? You're like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the job, but I'm also going to seem professional. And then me, the boss, at the end of the day, I can tell you like, oh, you know what? You don't have to even do that. His job just got 10 times better.
Yeah. But you knew that I would, right? Because somebody showing up looking at like a complete mess would not be a good look.
Oh,
right?
there's no way. Yeah,
So,
no, you're 100% right.
yeah.
So good call on you.
Yeah, exactly.
But then basically we walked upstairs and I was like, hey, look, do you like where you're at? And you're like, I'm kind of looking for something like different. And I was like, well, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an assistant. Okay. I'm thinking about doing a OJT, so on-job training for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would love if you just gave it a shot. If you like it, or you know, you like it better than what you're doing, like come work for me, right? But then I was like, you know what? No, I want you to stop your job today. I was like, it's because after I kind of like threw out a little bit, I was like, yeah, you know, if you want to come work for me, you're like, I don't think you said hate, but you're like, I do not like my job. Like, I want something else. I was like, oh, how much are you getting paid? And then you let me know. And I was like, okay, stop. I want you to put in your 2 weeks today. When you get back home, I promise you, come work for me. I'll pay you more. I went downstairs into my safe and I just walked upstairs and I was like, I will give you your first paycheck right now. All in cash. I was like, you come work for me. Here's your first paycheck, all in cash. Your kind of jobs, duties, and responsibilities will be this, this, and this. What do you think? And then you were like, okay. Like, yeah. And I think the main kicker for you is you had told me you wanted to do some type of content and stuff as well. This is like I think that was like the main thing, right? Is that you wanted to go do your own thing. And I made this promise to you.
Yeah.
I was like, Katherine, if you come work for me, you take this money, you put in your 2 weeks today, I promise you, I will make you a content creator. You will not mooch off of me. I will show you how to do this and blow to fast forward ahead really quick. Katherine took the job and 2 months later, 3 months later, you went from having how many followers originally on Instagram?
I had like 1,000.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then like 2 months later, 3 months later, you had...
Yeah, within the first 3 months, I think I had about 50,000.
50,000 new followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you started blowing up on all these other platforms and I was like...
Yeah. Honestly, getting the job with you felt too good to be true. Didn't feel like I even deserved something like that to happen to me. I worked so hard to get to even working at that chiropractic office. And that was already like, oh, this is such a great job. Like it's such a good opportunity. And even when I was there, even when things were bad, I was like, I'm being so ungrateful. You know, I can't believe it. And then this comes along with this. And I was like, this is too good to be true. The fact that I can work for you and you're so nice and relaxed and, you know, kind and caring
Sometimes.
and welcoming. Well, to me, at least to me, working for you is so nice. It's just so wonderful. And there's never a time where I feel disrespected. So that's one thing. Like you're just so respectful. And that's something that I think is actually very rare in a leader.
I try.
As a leader. Yeah. It's professional. And I think working for the chiropractic office, it started to become unprofessional because he started to get emotional.
Did he just like bring stuff from home into work and like put it on you guys, or was like the business struggling and he took it out on you guys, or what?
Yeah, I think because of COVID and what was going on, the aftermath.
That makes a lot of sense.
He would nitpick about personal things with us and he would fight with us, literally start yelling in front of people and patients. It was very unprofessional and it was uncomfortable. It was such a mess. And
the majority of the other people in the office, like the owner was like a male and then everyone else was like female, no?
Yes, other than the doctors. So the chiropractors were all male and then all the girls that worked in the front, we were all girls. And we all were uncomfortable with what was going on for sure.
That's a bad environment.
Yeah, so it was like a dream, put it this way, it was a dream come true when everything just fell into place. It felt like such a blessing, honestly. And then I remember the first day that I sat down and started working for you and I was at home, I truly just thought this is too good to be true. This
Ain't no fucking way. And then you're like, wait, he gave me like a couple $1,000.
Oh, he just gave me money and I'm like, wait, hold on. He just gave me cash. Like I just suddenly have extra money and he's just straight up getting right into it. And
damn, I'm feeling hyped up right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, damn, I'm
I've
the
never
shit,
told him
bro.
any of
Let's
this
go.
stuff.
Yeah, she just not telling me this. I'm like, bro, I'm the best boss to ever exist.
He is. I tell people that. I really I'm just like who I work for. I have nothing to say other than he's awesome. Like, truly.
Dude, yes. I appreciate you. Now, if you guys want to come work for one of the best bosses ever, I am looking for a videographer editor for the GunTube channel, Nico Live. It's coming eventually. What are you at right now on Instagram? And what's your Instagram really quick before we forget?
Yeah, my Instagram is yoga with Katharine. It's at Katharine with a K. A lot of people don't find me because they type in C. And right now I believe I'm at around 235 to 37.
Oh, she about to pass me up. I did it right. I think I even told you that. I was like, listen, I know how to work and finesse this entire like industry now. I know, hence why we got like 15 YouTube channels and all this shit, and they all just scale, right? I was like, I promise you will be your own boss. You're going to work for me, right? If you wanted to leave in the future, cool. I need an assistant right now. I will show you the way. And because you're a female, because like I said, I know how to work the industry. I was like, I guarantee you on some platforms, you're going to pass me up. If we did a right team, she will pass me up like 2 weeks after this episode because you guys are going to have to go follow her stuff. But when I started seeing your numbers, I was like, damn. And this is the next adventure we're doing. I'm going to get into consulting. Like I want to not like these like jump into my creator program and you'll become it. No. And you guys will eventually, it's not set up yet, but there will be 3 people per class. You guys will we're going to get on FaceTime or Zoom calls every single day. We're going to go through the analytics and like, I will literally make you a content creator. But that course is going to be expensive because that's like secrets and shit. But like, but I don't know. When I saw your stuff blow up, I was like, I was having myself. I was like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I could do this to anybody.
It's true.
So back onto the conversation. What I thought was really cool is once you started to blow up, like as a boss, the last thing you want to do is like lose like an awesome employee. Like that's every boss's like worst nightmare. But I think I didn't even think I had to voice it to you because we were working, you were blowing up on your stuff. Everything you were doing for me was awesome. Like you're killing the job. You were like, hey, is it okay if I take like a Thursday or some day in the week? You're like, is it okay if I go to this like yoga studio thing and like teach a class because like they reached out to me for like a promotion. I'm going to get paid for it. And I was like, dude, go forth and accomplish great things, which is something we always say in the military. I was like, do it. Like I really do want the best for you. And you're already doing the job I hired you for. So I'm like, go do it. But then you said this and I was like shocked almost. You're like, also, I just want to let you know, no matter what happens with like my yoga or like anything else I'm doing and like outside of work, like I'm not going to like quit or like leave. And I was like, damn. I was like, I don't know if that's like a sign from like God or something. Cause like, it was weird. Cause like that day I was like, it popped into my head and I was like, that's awesome for her. Like, that's good. And I was like, I'm gonna have to look for a new assistant at some point. And so now you're like crushing it. So you do like yoga and like, what the fuck is it called? What care?
Oh, holistic. I basically am a holistic living coach. So I just teach people how to live holistically, which is exactly what it means. Like your whole body, not just focusing on one. I have a headache.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a headache. So I'm going to take a pill. Rather, no, we're going to get to the root cause. We're going to figure out what's causing that headache. So it's the very simple term.
So the way the doctors should be, but are not the doctor.
Well, exactly. So sure, I'm absolutely not a doctor. It's never medical advice. It's only advice based on, I've taken nutrition courses. I've taken holistic health and coaching courses as well.
Well, that's what you are. You're like a yoga master.
And I've done all fitness training as well. I'm not just yoga trained. I'm trained in Pilates.
Yeah, well, it's not amateur, basically. Like nothing to do with amateur. You went, you got all of your certifications, like licensings for all that stuff. And so now that's what you do. You are helping a bunch of people. What like got you into that though? Like, do you just like helping people at the end of the day? Because you started doing that and then you were helping all these people. You left, you worked for me. I showed you how to grow on social media so that way you can reach these people and then create a life for yourself, but continue to like give back and take care of others. But like what started it, you being passionate about it? Because you are. Yes,
I'm very passionate about it. It's truly something that I think about all the time, every day, 24/7. And that's how I know I love it. There's no other way to really know, but I know where it started. And, you know, I'm from South Africa. So when I was growing up, I was just always was very insecure. I didn't feel good.
That's
and
where the accent came from.
Oh,
Everybody,
yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't even know that. But yeah, you're born and raised from South Africa.
Yes.
And when did you come to the United States?
I came to the States in 2017, July 2017, and I was 21 years old at the time. So, and I'm 27 now, so it's been almost 6 years.
It's funny because like I travel to South Africa. Like I love South Africa. It's one of the few places I would live in, even though it's ridiculously dangerous. And listen to me, this is going to sound crazy. If you are white and you go to South Africa, you will experience a bunch of racism, and it is a dangerous place.
It's
okay.
true.
It's not like here where it's like, oh, the police gonna get, no, everybody on your ass, bro. But I love South Africa. It's beautiful. It's like people aren't pieces of shit, are like really nice people.
Yeah.
And it's like the currency split over there too is ridiculous.
So
yeah.
It's so good. In South Africa, I was very insecure. I was always sick. I was a very sick
That's weird because you're
teenager.
like the healthiest,
Well,
probably the
now-
healthiest person I know.
No, I was a very sickly person. I
Picturing
was
like an old lady.
suffering. Yeah, like a teenager as an old lady. I was constantly ill, but I was still just pushing through living. When you're 18 to 21, you're just partying the whole time. So I was doing
opposite,
that.
Katherine.
Totally different now. But I wanted to travel, and I knew that I wanted to do something else. I had a really bad childhood, so I didn't have anything there. I didn't have, I do have family, but it wasn't, it's not secure relationships. I didn't have any, there was nothing there for me. And I knew I just needed to get out the country and travel, and I wanted to find myself. The funny thing is you always take yourself with you wherever you go. So it doesn't work that way. Yeah,
dude, that's funny. Like
So-
I gotta move out on my own. I gotta go.
Yeah,
Every to ever exist in all of history.
exactly.
But you did it like you are on some next level shit. What made you choose the United States though?
Actually, it wasn't my first choice. I tried to go to Australia and I got rejected. I paid a whole bunch of money and I got rejected. Then I tried the UK and I couldn't find any host families because I came as an au pair. So it was actually my last choice, and not because I don't like America, but because I'd been here already, because I actually have family that lives here. So I'd already traveled some of the United States, and I actually, when I was 15, stayed with my family for 6 months as an exchange student. My aunt and uncle took me in and kind of.
So you already know America was shitty before you even came over here. So that's why it was not the first time. She's like, God, this people suck.
No, I mean, I like anything is better than South Africa in my mind, because it was so hard to make a living there and so dangerous. And I knew there was more for me. I knew that I wasn't going to stay in South Africa forever. I don't know how. I just knew. So yeah, so I came here and I worked as an au pair, and my mom was like, oh, you're never coming back. And I was like, I'll be back after 1 year. And then she's like, you're never coming back. Yeah. And she was right. So that happened as well. When I was traveling here, I was also, again, just not well. I took antibiotics regularly. I just always had infections and this and, like I had a lot of.
It sounds like you were literally dying.
I was literally dying, right? So I was just sick. And stupidly, I didn't do anything to change that. I continued to drink like crazy and just party and do nothing to help myself. And eventually it caught up with me, and I ended up having melanoma, which is a skin cancer, which a lot of people are like, oh, just skin cancer.
So you actually got cancer, right?
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yes. And it's shocking because obviously I was 24 at the time. So people are shocked when it's like a 24-year-old. But actually that is the leading cause of death in women, cancer death in women 18 to 30. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. So as sickly as I was, you always think you're invincible when you're young. You're like, oh, I'm never going to die. I guess like I'm sick, but I'm not going to die. And when that happened, I was like, oh, I am going to die. And I was pretty convinced for a while that I was. Even though it was treatable with surgery, I didn't have to go further.
How does that work? Like the doctor legit came in and was like, you got cancer, bruh. And then you were like, damn, bruh. Or like what? Were you like,
so much less heartfelt than that.
Really?
They don't care. They didn't even tell me in person. They told me over the phone.
They were just like, yeah, you have cancer. Yeah. Melanoma, it's a skin cancer. We're going to get you set up with chemo. It's probably going to cost you a bunch of money, but you'll be fine eventually. And you're like,
no, it's so much. It's cruel the way people deal with it. You know, they
That's
just
fucked.
they don't tell you anything. Well, basically what happened was I went in for a skin check because I'd never done that, and my uncle had just died from melanoma.
Oh,
Literally.
no.
He had
Oh,
just
that's
died.
fucking terrifying.
Yes. Yeah, so it was even worse because my uncle had just died. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I guess that means it's in our family. I go and then I have it too, right? So that was crazy. If he didn't die, I would probably have not gone in to ever get a skin check.
I was about to ask. I was like, wait, so it's not, you didn't see anything on your body? You weren't like, oh, that might be cancer. You were just like, oh, he died. You're like, I have a feeling I should get checked.
Yes.
Wow.
I felt like I had to. I actually had a mini panic attack because I knew. I was like, something's wrong. I need to go get it checked. And
do you know how long you had it before you got checked?
About 6 months.
Like you said, your family member passed away from it. But how long did they have it for?
So he actually had it as well when he was 25, got that removed, but then he got another one, which can happen if you don't take care of your health, because you got it the first time, it can happen again, right?
Like,
but I will get into that. I know exactly. So basically he got it again, and because he survived the first time, he was like, I'm fine. Don't need to worry about it.
Oh, he's like, I got this, bruh.
He left it because now I know what to look for. So for me, I would see it if it happened again. I'm not worried about it. I used to be. I had terrible anxiety afterwards, but literally like crippling. But yeah, he chose to not get it dealt with. For me, it was, it was treatable with surgery. I didn't have to do any other treatment. So it was lucky. But for him, he waited until he had pain. And that means it's spread.
Yeah, don't ever do anything until pain.
That.
That's like really, really bad.
Yeah.
So then you come around, change this like lifestyle now. You started in that like doctor, chiropractic, healthcare office, and then you kind of got into like some yoga and everything. And
no, what happened was for a full year and it was COVID had just started then. And after that news happened, I went down a path of self-destruction completely. I would wake up, you're not going to believe this, but I would wake up in the morning and start drinking immediately. I would start drinking. I couldn't deal with, I just thought I was going to die. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. Like
you're like, cancer, I'm going to drink myself to death.
It's insane. I was just so depressed. I couldn't handle what was going on inside of me. And I gave up.
What changed?
I gave up.
Because that is a path that like literally very few people can like look in a mirror or reflect and save themselves from that. And it's crazy for me. Sorry to cut you. It's crazy for me because anywhere Katherine go, it's like, oh, what's she eating? Like rabbit food, like lettuce or some shit or carrots. And then it's like, oh, what's she drinking? I'm like, Katherine got juice or something. Yeah. I'm like, oh, so to hear just be like, wake up, grab my bottle of whiskey, Nico, and I would just drink myself.
Yeah.
To sleep. Like that is so weird to hear. But what made you like turn that around?
I mean, I was drinking and popping pills. I was doing everything. So.
Yo, holy shit! What kind of pills were you popping?
It was just like anxiety medication or painkillers and stuff like that too.
It's a painkiller called ecstasy and cocaine.
No, never that. I was always afraid of that, so I never did anything like that. But like prescription can be just as bad, and
100%.
So I went down a really bad path, and I didn't care anymore because I gave up on the worst night when I was by myself because, I could tell people didn't know what to do anymore. My friends didn't know what to do. My family didn't know what to do. And
you were lost.
I was lost because you think that your family and friends would be there for you. At some point, it actually becomes too much for them. So
nobody is coming to save you, people. To all the listeners out there, you need to take your life into your own hands. If you are going through shit in life and you're looking to your family to save you, one, that's a pity party. Nobody cares. Two, you have to understand realistically, nobody can save you other than the person in the mirror. Only you can save yourself from true destruction. Like there's no way around that.
That's exactly what I realized, literally. So on one of the worst nights where I felt like everybody was pulling away because I didn't know what to do anymore, and I didn't know what to do anymore, and I was looking up ways to literally end my life. Crazy.
Oh shit.
I was just like, how can I do it as painlessly as possible? Like I even looked up if I would I go to heaven, like, because I wanted to know, like,
shit.
It's so dark, I know, but this is how I got here. So on that darkest night ever, I woke up the next morning and I thought, I'm alive right now. I can choose to continue like this and be miserable.
Wow.
Even if a week from now I get told I have stage 4. It actually wasn't even logical because I have a 99.9% chance of no recurrence. It wasn't logical, but it traumatized me when I heard the words.
You had your family member
recently
die from it, like literally in that time frame, hence why you went. And let alone at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Cancer is a scary thing. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
because
matter.
then it's like, okay, cancer is now 100% on the board for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And it could take me now, or it could, like you say, it could take you in the future. Something's got to change. That's scary.
Yeah, and you feel rejected. Well, not rejected. You feel betrayed by your body because your body creates that. So I hated my body. I hated it. I hated everything about it, and I hated myself.
Fuck this body.
Yeah.
Putting alcohol and sleeping pills and shit in it. No, hell no, son.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I woke up that morning and I was like, I can choose to be in this dark room. And I was playing Zelda, drinking and playing Zelda every day. I know, random.
Gamer. Twitch streamer, gamer
Weird.
girl.
Yeah, I think it was the only thing that made me feel a little bit okay. But anyways, I was like, I'm not putting on Zelda today. I'm not going to drink. And I literally did that movie style, throw out all the alcohol, throw out all the pills.
Wow.
And I did a yoga class for the first time. And
that's what started it.
That's where it started. I felt just even 1% better after I did it. And that was enough to make me feel like the next day I could feel another 1% better if I did another yoga class. And then I continued to do that.
There was hope there.
There was hope.
After the first, okay, now yoga with Katherine makes a lot of sense. Yoga legit saved your life.
It saved my life.
And then now you go out and you're helping people in so many other ways. And then you teach yoga that's your thing is yoga. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily just yoga. I want people to know that it's a way that your body can create happy hormones is by deep breathing and moving and, getting the sunlight. But when you are, you're constantly depriving your body from these things that it needs to feel good, you're going to feel worse.
100%.
It's like when you're lying on the couch, you feel really lethargic and tired. But it's because you're lying on the couch.
Yeah, you set your mind up for. That's why, and it's funny you mentioned sunlight. There's so many little things I do to set myself up for success every single morning.
I see that you do that.
Yeah, I'm always fasting. I always fast, and that kills cancer.
Yes, it does.
I don't care what you guys want to think that there is no cure at the doctors for cancer. No. The cure for you and cancer is literally fasting. I don't care what anybody says. Fasting changes up your metabolism. You will have a ton of energy you've never had before. You will be able to actually sleep better. Your body starts to recover better. Anti-aging capabilities. You're going to lose all that nasty, dirty fat in your body that doesn't go. I'm like, okay, I need to fast. I wake up from my fast, because it's the previous day. I immediately get up, I walk outside into my backyard, and I let the sunlight hit me. I will stay in sunlight for 5 to 10 minutes every single morning. I'll come inside. I will take a super cold shower. I will get out, and then I'm live streaming. I go upstairs. I plot up my day, and then I start filming content and live streaming on Twitch.
It adds up. And these are all things that are free is the funniest thing. It doesn't cost any money. So why would a doctor prescribe something or tell you to do something that's free?
They're not doctors anymore. I feel weird telling people that. For those of you who don't, doctors are car salesmen.
Yeah.
They're literally salesmen. They're just selling pharmaceuticals. There's a reason healthcare now is for everybody when it used to not be. It's for everybody now because guess what? They can get $1 off you. And I totally get it. There's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, well, the doctors wouldn't save my life. They perform surgery. Yes, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Yeah.
There's a place for modern medicine. The problem is that it is not, they don't focus on preventative care.
No.
And the place for modern medicine is absolutely there. If you have an infection and you need antibiotics, you need that. You will die without that. You cannot cure that with holistic practices.
Yeah.
And that is how we have come so far and survived to much older ages now as well.
Yeah.
And surgeries and all of that stuff, that there is a place, an accident. It's not like, oh, you're in an accident, don't go to the hospital. Absolutely not. We need to be preventing illness. We need to be caring for our bodies and actually doing the hard work necessary to be healthy. It's hard work, but everybody wants the convenience of popping a pill, taking Ozempic to lose weight rather than doing that shit
does not work. It does not work. I don't care what anybody says. That's not a way to live your life. Those things will not fix you. You totally fell for it.
Yeah, and on the insert it tells you that it literally puts you at risk for cancer, but people are still doing it, and it blows my mind.
People just don't get it.
No.
People are just like, nope, they said it. It's the truth. They would never lie to us. Yeah. And I'm like, bro.
I mean, I actually, my dermatologist told me, and I won't say any names or companies because I don't know if she would want me to. But basically, she was working for a very well-known place, that owns a lot of medication and all of that. And, you know, they called her in one day and then they said, you know, you're diagnosing way too many melanomas. And she was like, I'm not sure I know what you mean. And they were like,
what?
well, yeah, you know, costing us money. You need to wait a little longer till they're further along so that they can actually get treatment. Because when you diagnose a melanoma early, all you have to do is cut it out. No treatment needed.
Oh, they wanted to drag it out. So they get like 5 payments from you. That's instead of just you went in for the first visit, we found it, and it's a one-time payment. Yeah, that's it's all, and like you, I'm not going to name names, but for those of you who remember, at my time as even in the military, little bit of weird shit. But then when I went to go start working executive protection, I'm working for these billionaires who, I don't know how else to word it, they own the hospital, and you see where some of these streams of revenue are, and you see the people come to these meetings, you're like, holy it's in Silicon Valley. There's a few. I'm like, these hospitals do not like help people. Like the only thing that actually helps people realistically from what I saw is surgery. Outside of that, like I don't take medications. Like I have ADHD, like that's fine. It's the way it is. I'm totally okay with it. Whatever. People are born that way. But when I have like headaches, I feel sick, I'm not going to the hospital anymore. I'm not doing these things. One, because I'm fasting. I fixed my lifestyle. And I feel like anybody who goes to the doctor, like ask yourself, after the first 2 visits, did they fix you or are you still going back?
I can't tell you how many times when I was going through that struggle phase of mine where I was so anxious, I would go to doctors about all kinds of different things because I was always like, oh, I feel something. I need to go to the doctor because I was afraid. And it was psychosomatic. I started to get anxiety. And,
you're spiraling.
Spiraling.
Well, you don't know what to do because your life is just, it's at the end of the day, like we said, it's scary.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And going to the doctor, I can't tell you how many times I was just blown off or immediately within 10 minutes prescribed something. They didn't listen to me. Well, I've learned now from a friend of mine who's a doctor is typically they need to get you in and out in 11 minutes. And if they don't, then they're not going to meet their patient number requirements and they'll get in trouble and they can actually risk losing their job. They need to get you in and out.
Yeah, here exposing the health industry. She would never harm herself. Neither would I. So if we disappear, some shit happened, okay? But no, that's really the way it is. It's all about money now. That's all it is. And don't worry, we're going to spare all of you. We're not even going to get into COVID. Yeah. But we literally had a conversation about that yesterday when we were at dinner and we were chilling. We were like, dude, this shit's so... Yeah, no, like I said, it's fucking bullshit. Yeah. We've made like 3 episodes on it already here, I'm brutally honest. So yeah, but what is like the next thing for you? While you're doing like the yoga stuff, you're doing this like healthcare routine, like what's next?
What's awesome is that the old me would not have even had the energy to do one of these things. I probably could have barely even worked for you, which is so amazing now that my health is just, I mean, I never get sick anymore. We all get colds and stuff. If I do, it's super minor and I'm able to deal with it or, you know, and I never take medication for it. So basically I'm just like, I feel so amazing and I feel like I can take on so many things. So on to the next one. Of course, I work for you and I've got my social media and I do have a membership that's been amazing for a lot of people. And
like a membership, like what? It's not OF.
No.
It's all the listeners. There's no I would be like,
no, absolutely
Katherine, we are not doing this.
Absolutely not. It is essentially a movement membership for people that don't know where to start. Okay. And they also don't know how to stay consistent. So I actually formulate an optimized schedule for them every single week. And I put out new workouts every single week as well. And they can just follow the schedule. And they can also, if they don't want to follow a schedule, they're not a scheduled person. You don't have to be. You can also just type in what you need that day. I want to work on my hamstrings. I want to work on my abs. I want to work on my upper body. You can type it in the membership and do it.
So you're legit doing kind of like what you originally sought out to do, like what you're doing at the previous, like, I don't know why can't remember the name, but it's like the doctor's office you were working at before, right? Chiropractor. Sorry. The chiropractor office you were working at before. Yeah. And then now you're actually like pretty much doing it, including yoga, including all these like, so you're basically the doctor we've been looking for kind of.
For the body, I would say. Well,
for the body.
In the membership, it is pretty much exclusively movement. I don't talk about, you know, food or all the other things that come as part of the holistic lifestyle or anything like that. But I do have an ebook, a smoothie ebook, and I'm coming out with a salad ebook actually in December. Christ. So, and we'll have 50 salad recipes.
I'm going to end up working for Katherine one day, guys. She be moving, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
crazy.
working on that right now. And then I'm also, the clothing that we wear can be incredibly toxic for our bodies and is causing cancer all over the place. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize that everything that you wear is absorbed into the skin. The skin absorbs everything.
Yes.
So it's not something that you would think about, but when you're putting on even a t-shirt that is made out of 100% cotton, there's a potential that there are pesticides on that cotton.
So you're making clothes too now?
I'm going to be making organic clothing as well.
Bro.
Yeah.
I see. It's weird. It's so interesting to hear because you already like what the work we do here is like. If you guys knew the work tempo, I think a lot of people would be absolutely shocked. But like, I think a lot of people ignore the fact that I'm damn near posting long form content every single day. We're posting more than like 40 shorts a day. When it comes to posts a day amongst all of my platforms, we have more than like 60 posts a day. So we are, but we found a way, and I've shown you, and from consulting and all that stuff, like I've shown a way. I'm like, there's a way to do it. There's a proper way of doing it. We've come through with all that. And then just aside from all the other work, it's like management side of the house. If you guys have ever come to like try and talk to me about business stuff, this is how it goes. Hey, Nico, I'd love to I have a proposition for you. I have a business idea. I'm like, cool. So this is Katharine. You're going to talk to her, and she just like handles and manages everything. So that's why I'm like, damn, you got a lot on your plate, but like, that's awesome. You know how to like manage it. And for those of you who don't know too, I want to say like everyone from Twitch at least will understand this because they already know, and they've like spoke with you and asked you questions and stuff. And they're like, oh, Katharine's so nice. Like, you know, working for Nico. Oh yeah, the questions. Don't worry. We're going to get into the questions soon enough. But they're like, Nico, what do you do though if like something goes wrong or like it's a bad deal and like Katharine can't do it? And I'm like, no. I hired Katharine because I saw the potential she can do it. And I told you, I was like, listen, the job will be easy. I'm going to show you how to do all these things. You're going to make money. You are going to be my pitbull.
Yeah.
You're when things go wrong, I need you to get aggressive. I need you to talk at people and let them know we run the show here. And like, it's funny to see, we'll be in like meetings and we'll be like, it'll be like us and like a few other people or like a branding deal or like whatever. It's cool because I know I don't have to say shit. If there's like a bad part of the deal or even they're being like disrespectful, they're being not proper with time management. Katharine's like, listen, we have another meeting we need to go to. Because then like, you guys will understand this in the future. It's like, that's exactly what I want of her because I don't like my time being wasted. She knows that. So she picks up the slack. And being the primary creator, it's like, you guys will get this. It's all about management, right? So I can say that too, what Katharine said, but then Nico Ortiz looks weird. Nico Ortiz is a piece of shit. So in order to protect the image, you guys should always have representation. Katharine works for me, but when it comes to speaking to other people, so I don't get my time wasted, I have to go do all these things to get the content out. Katharine just will destroy somebody's heart. I mean, like, no, that's not going to work. That's a terrible deal. Why would Nico do that? Or like someone will think they have like a cool game plan. You're like, yeah, that's not going to work. Because what if like this or this happens? Or, you know, you're like, okay, yeah, we're done here. And I'm like,
I feel like
we're done here.
You've actually even I think more than once told me to be a little nicer.
There was once or twice I was like, okay, listen. No, I have. I remember that. Like, and to a lot of people, I'm sure like this nice girl here can be an absolute menace to society. I'm like, yes.
That's why it's
like,
shocking.
Do not fuck with Katharine. Because that's the thing about potential, right? I was like, I know you can do it. I just got to dial you in, right? So when I told you, I was like, I need you to be like, I want everybody to know they can't fuck with Nico because they're scared of you. Like that's like the boss lady image. And it's true. It was in an email, I think. It was and you were like, you're like, you said something, you're like, so you expect us, you were like, you expect Nico.
There wasn't enough information in the email. And I was like, this is rude because I'm not going to I'm not going to reach back out. Like,
and it was a real company. It was like a big company. Yeah. And then they came in with Nico's a cool guy. We don't need to go in there as business. I'm a cool guy. We can hang out. But the second something becomes business, and a lot of people don't think this because I just look like the most autistic, dumb to walk the earth through all my content. But like, I'm very, like when it comes to business, I do have a little bit of a mind and niche for business. So I'd like to take it seriously when it needs to get serious because it involves people's lives, time, and money. You already knew that was going to piss me off. So you just went in and I read the emails because you see me. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, was there a different email and they called Katharine like a bitch or something? And then I was like, nah, she was hot the gate. But I was like, perfect. Yeah. Because I can always dial it down. And by the way, if you guys are like, oh, so you're just teaching her how to act. I'm like, no. Promise you she's not acting. She's doing the job I hired her for, and she does it like perfectly. You know, like from people that we brought on before, I'm like, I'm a nice guy, but if you start to f- me over or you or my editors or anybody else on the team, you're gone. Like, and I'm not going to cry or lose sleep over it. You're gone. And then I was like, listen, you're doing the right thing, but like, I think I told you, I was like, it's business. I was like, we don't let our emotions cloud business. We would just tell them, no, this doesn't work. Da, 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 da. That was like the one or two times.
Like, the way that you approach it is just so, I can't explain it. It's not a typical boss situation where you're standing at a position that is so much higher than me and you want me to feel small. It's more like you want to acknowledge what I did and why I did it, and that makes sense. But let's do it a little differently. So I still feel like, oh, he sees what I was trying to do, you know, and it's a good feeling rather than, you know, in previous experiences where it's like you just get screamed at, even though you were maybe trying to do something that would have worked, but you know, you're redirecting in a way.
Yeah, well, like it's like, hey, look, because I think people have to break themselves down, and it's hard for a lot of people who are bosses because they need to. You can run your business however the fuck you want. I don't care. I think I take it from like a military approach. And being a leader from my time in the military, it's like, listen, like I can't do it by myself, and I don't need you to be a part of my team. I may want you to be a part of the team, but it's all about potential. And it's just like, if it clicks and it works, great. You're part of this team now. I, at that point, will not give up on you. Like I've seen the potential. It's just like, and I told you to do something a certain way, right? So I'm not going to be like, you f***ed up. It's like, I'm like, listen, I know I told you to do this. I see what you're doing, but I need you to do it a different way. I'm not like mad about it or anything like that, but we're going to change it up. Good job.
And I love that. I love leaving emotions out of work because it creates such a gray environment where you just don't know where you stand anymore with each other.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, rather than it's black and white, it's clear you and I are working. That's it. We're not going to make this emotional, you know, and I love that because I think that is so incredibly valuable in business. Yeah,
well, because also we'll be like hanging out. We'll be hanging out with like, you know, everybody else on the team. We can go do whatever. And it's
like a time and a place.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for that. Like literally, if it's like 5, I'll be like, hey, are we done for the day? And it's like, yeah, like, oh, cool. Yeah, like everybody, like, let's go get up and eat some food. Let's chill. Let's go to the Jake Paul fights. Let's go do something fun. But then, like, as you know, and this is how I am, I'm like, I love to give everybody the leeway. Cause like you work for me, you do your job. Like I am appreciative of that. Regardless of the fact that I'm paying people to do it. It's what the things I ask people to do are not easy. So I'm like,
that's true.
I want everybody to like working for me too. Right. But there's 100% a time and a place for that. And when we're done, we're done. But like when Monday comes around, I'm like, you guys understand your employees. Like you're going to show up at the meeting on Monday on time before I get there, and you're going to be ready for me to speak. You're going to follow the rules, and you're going to do your job. Oh, that work day's over. Did you see this new TV show? Like, you know, whatever. I mean, we even like bullshit during the team meeting. I'm like, we can bullshit and talk and hang out. Cause the thing a lot of businesses like, and I get it, like they get so big and you start to lose that little bit of a connection with your employees. But when you lose that connection, that's when it goes from hanging out, having a good time to work. Because we can do this work right now, but it's like we're just hanging out. We're just making money. We're doing whatever we want to do, right? But the second you start to like, hey, you go do this, bye. And there's no like genuine conversation. I don't give a fuck about what you guys did over the weekend and stuff like that. Like, no, it's a team effort.
I think that's what builds a strong team is to know when it's time to work and when it's time to play. That's simple. And then you don't get those bridges crossed and it's a lot easier to have a good relationship when you're not connecting work with your emotions and you're not going to like hold the grudges as we come into, you know, hanging out.
That. Yeah. That is the end of a business career or someone's time working at a place. It's literally just an absolute. It's funny because we get so much done to where I know, I don't care what Katherine says right now. I know my whole team hates it. I'll be like, listen, guys, I'm going to create a new channel. Boom. We're going to scale it up to 100,000 and then we'll find something else. We literally will do that in like a month or two. And then I'm like, listen, work tempo is going to be a little different. Start a new channel. We're going to blow it up again. Okay. And then you guys are like, fuck. Stop it.
What do you mean, Nico? What is it going to be this time?
Yeah, and I'll just come up with like random stupid shit. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We're gonna go questions because I was gonna be like, what's like the shittiest thing about it? But okay, so for those of you who are in the Discord or follow me on Twitch, I asked you guys like, hey, tomorrow me and my assistant are gonna be doing a podcast together. Throw some questions in there for a Q&A. And then I didn't have me or Katherine do this one because I was going to be like, that's going to be cheating. But we had somebody select some of the questions that you guys had. Here's our first question. And answer these honestly. You know me. You know I'm not going to give a f***. You could be like, well, I think Nico's got a big ass head or something. I'll be like, okay. But okay, here's the first question. What is the favorite and least favorite part about being Nico's assistant?
Okay. Well, I'll start.
Oh God, it's gonna hurt already. I know. Oh no.
It's not gonna hurt. Maybe it would surprise you. We'll start with the good news, which is the favorite part.
No. I want to hear the worst thing first.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear the worst thing. She's gonna try and like sweeten it up, be like, oh, Nico's just the best. But I really hate this shit. And I'm like, no. Tell me what the worst thing is.
Okay, I think sometimes it can feel like you're a perfectionist, and it can feel a little impossible to reach. I would say, if I can give an example, sometimes with titling, it can be quite hard for us to come together on a title.
Absolutely.
Or, something, or a thumbnail or something like that. I think that you are a perfectionist. You want it to be perfect, but sometimes it cannot be. And then connecting our visions can be difficult. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of like how to, no, I don't care. I'm trying to think of it because it's so true. I don't know if I want to say, for me, I don't know if I want to say I'm a perfectionist. I don't care about it being perfect because I know, like, I mean, look at it. Like we do something great and I'm like, nah, we improve. I think it's about like, think of it about like you being yourself, right? You realize you were at a bad point in your life. You're like, I need to improve. You did something and you're like, I think I can improve more. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. And hopefully you see it a little bit, I guess. Yeah. But like when we do improve, like our lives get easier. That's not me fighting it, guys. I promise. Agree. I'm totally okay with Katherine hating that. But yeah, I'm just like, I guess sometimes when it comes to like me trying to rearrange things, I'm always like, how can we do it better? Like, what can we do to change that? But no, I see the funny thing is I know like all the team feels that way. I know everybody feels that way because I'm always like, and it's the little things. And I'm like, I don't like having the word the in there.
Exactly.
It just doesn't feel, I think I just go full autism mode. Because I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like when it comes to analytics, when I told you I was going to make you a creator fast, I don't believe you no matter what you say that you actually believed me. I thought you were like, oh yeah, he's going to say that. He'll like shout me out and stuff. And I'm like, no. Yeah. People knew you were my assistant. Yeah. Like maybe like I announced you one time. That did not impact your following at all. It's you creating your own content and how you went about it. Yeah. And like, I just see I'm like autistic. I see the numbers in the analytics. I'm like, okay, we need to do this, that, da. And so when I'm seeing some of the titles, the thumbnails, the content, I'm like, just don't feel right. I don't like it. Right. And so it just kind of spirals everybody out like this mother.
Well, yeah. What people might not know is that, well, first of all, Nico's incredibly impressive, right? He just makes it happen. I mean, and I think that is truly what happens with the titles and the thumbnails, right? For example, it's just like you've got to make it happen, but it can be difficult on the receiving end for sure to match up with your vision. But meanwhile,
that's the other thing too, is that like nobody will ever have the visions that I have. And that's why also like I do get frustrated sometimes with everybody. I'm like, no, listen, like I've described this a million different ways. Why are we doing it like that? We should be doing it like that. But then like, I like recover from that. I'm like, okay, listen, I think I try to explain myself in the sense of like, not, that's why I got mad, but like, see what I'm seeing. Yeah. So that way I don't annoy you anymore and we can maybe like fix it again. But yeah, I'm a head a lot of the time when it comes to like finalizing stuff. Cause I'm like, they're not going to like this title or something like that. But yeah, it's whatever at that point. I'm like you said, the vision, like, I'm like, they don't have the vision. This is not what I imagined. Now I'm frustrated, but yeah.
And so that's what I would say would be the least favorite. I'll go to the good news now.
I'm happy that's like the least favorite thing. That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Because it's not changing.
There has to be something. And it was actually like, it's hard for me to think of bad things because I truly just enjoy working for you so much. So, but no relationship's going to be perfect. No work relationship, no business is going to be perfect. So it's totally expected for there to be some sort of conflict here and there,
I think what makes it easy though is that you understand, I think, why I'm doing that. Cause
Yeah.
I've told you guys before, I'm like, listen, I've told like my editors and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, you guys telling me it doesn't matter. You don't think changing up this cut that way, or if we're doing thumbnails, I'm like, you guys don't think changing the color up or changing the fucking red arrow that's pointing, I'm like, you don't think changing it 2 degrees is going to make a difference? And I've had to like be as fair but stern as possible. I'm like, fine, you know what? We'll put it up. And I promise you it's not going to break 100,000 views in 24 hours. If we would do it the way I want to do it, hence in this video, and this video, and you know what? We'll do it in the next video. It's going to get an extra 100,000 views. I'm Mr. Beast. I was like, that's why. And then sometimes I think you guys see the numbers. You guys are like, he was right, but it's like, why was he right? And I'm like, I don't care that I'm right. I care about like why I was right. Like, do we all see that like doing these small, minute changes? Yeah. It's the make or break between more views. And I'm always trying to like give back too. I'm like, I want to give everybody bonuses like every 6 months. I want to give everybody a nice raise like every year or every like quarter. If it's a holiday, I'm like, man, I just want to like, if the team eats, like I'm good. I don't give a fuck. All the money goes back into the channel, like back into my employees or like whoever. I sound stupid. I sound like I'm gassing myself up right now. But yeah, that's why I like to make the little changes. I'm like, listen, this is going to benefit everybody, but I totally get it. Okay, so what's the most favorite thing about working for me?
So, yeah, well, I feel like I touched on it a little bit earlier. Just, I think it's my favorite because of the bad work environments that I've been in. Just that it is an incredibly uplifting, encouraging, inspiring work environment. And there's no emotions involved. I feel like it's just so professional when we're working, and, you know, it just feels like it feels so easy. And it also, I feel like when I'm working for you, I'm inspired to do more as well in my own life. And I think that that's something that is missing in a lot of work environments. People come
100%.
home and they are drained and they are depressed and they feel low on themselves because their boss knocked them down. And that's just not, you know, I feel like you're just so supportive, and you also let us know when we're doing a good job. And I think that that's so important, you know, just to feel good working, you know, and I didn't know it could happen. And now I'm in it. So.
I think a lot of bosses, at the end of the day, their agenda is how can I make a lot of money and how can I blow up my business? The way I'm looking at all this stuff is I'm like, how can we get paid and how can we grow? And how can we have more time in our days to relax after work? That's what's important to me. And that, once again, I think that's just a military thing, because it's like we cannot do it by ourselves. No boss can do it by themselves. You can sell your company for $30 million at the end of the day if you want to. Bro, you did not do it all by yourself. You had employees. You had other people doing other shit so you could work. Like, and I try and like, I'm like, it's different from the military because as a team, everything that's done is physical. It's not via keyboards. You're like, please help carry this log too. And then they do. And you're like, okay, we're a team. I got your back too. So I think that's the best way of trying to go about things. And that's, I guess, what my angle is. That was the favorite and least favorite thing about being my assistant. So next we got, what is it like to work for someone as hyperactive as Nico? It's not the same question. It's totally different, but we did touch on that a little bit.
Nobody's going to believe me. Nico is not hyperactive at all when we're hanging out. He is
true.
So, I mean, he's calm, and we have in-depth conversations. We laugh, like, sure, but he is not, to me, he is very just put together when we're hanging out. He's so different to me, like on live streams.
Well, it's like, I think the way to put it is like, I have a lot of uncontrolled energy.
You definitely
and when I'm able to live stream, I'm able to like let it out and stuff like that. And like, you've seen it, like when cause like if we go on like a travel trip or something like that, and I'm like, hey, listen, we're going to work during the day, but later on we're going to go hang out with my friends. We're going to go party and rage. You can come if you want. And then like, you'll see, like, I'm definitely that kind of guy. I'm like hyperactive, but they like with work, like there's a time and a place for that. And with you and some other people, not to say you can't handle it, but like, I get how you are. You're like, yoga with Katharine, soft-spoken and kind and elevated. And I'm like, some people in the past that like, I let all this energy out and this drive.
Yeah.
oh my God, they can't handle it. And like I've crushed friendships before like that way. And like, but that not crushed friendships. It's just like, that's the person I am and other people don't handle it. But like, I can go either way. I can sit, chill, not speak and all that stuff. And I'll still have a lot of energy. My brain will be firing and I'll be coming up with like content ideas. Or, oh my God, if I'm like drunk, I'm like running around. I'd be trying to fight people. I'd be like everything you guys see in all of the content and stuff like that. Hence why we have so many channels. And I told you this was part of like our plan is like, people know I'm like the crazy hyperactive yell scream guy. Hence one of the reasons for the podcast. It's like, I have the ability to articulate. There's a time and a place for that Nico and this Nico. And it's not like, oh, you have to like dial it back and da-da-da. I'm like, no, it's almost like a bipolar type of vibe. I love to have conversations about things that are not bullshit, but then I also like to love screaming. Me live streaming is me and doing the reaction because me partying and raging in my chair where I can whenever I want. And so all the energy gets out. But
well, just like you're not, because I feel like I actually don't do well around people that are like a bull in a china shop, just kind of just running around like crazy, and they overwhelm and they actually like drain you because their energy is so high.
And that's the type of person I can be though. That's why I'm like, I get how you are and I'm totally cool with this, like the chilled environment. So I'm like, bro, I'll say that up and I'll just utilize it later because like I'm about like, I'm like, what's the mood, right? And I could totally go with the mood, or like I definitely have those days where I'm like, fuck everybody, like I'm going crazy and I'm just a loud, obnoxious head.
It's not that you aren't loud and, you know, outspoken as per usual, just not overwhelming or anything like that to me.
Which is great, by the way. So then we'll go on to the next one. It says, what's the strangest thing you've had to do and why? And does Kath think the Matrix is real?
The strangest thing I've had to do for you or in general?
I think for me, like working for me, like what's like the strangest thing I've been like, Katharine, you go do this shit. And you're like, what? I don't want to.
There's nothing weird because I think a lot of people may think that my assisting you might be a little bit more personal, but it's mostly business stuff that I assist you with. I don't really assist, like a lot of a personal assistants will, you know, do chores or.
Oh yeah, no, Katharine is not a maid.
I don't do that.
You're not. No.
I don't fold your underwear or anything like that.
No, I like try and tell people. Well, we've been talking. I was like, I need a different assistant, not one that like is gonna do that stuff, but like I'm trying to put you more on like the. I told you, I was like, I'm gonna elevate you. I was like, I want to put you more on like the, because you already like you're my assistant, but I want you to be more of a EA than a PA. So the PA is personal assistant, EA is executive assistant. And I'm like, I want to keep you on that side of the house, but I definitely want somebody who I can be like, I need you to upload this and put it in the da-da-da, which already do some of those things, but I'm trying to like lighten your load. They can do that. And we can really keep you on the more executive side.
Yeah, so I think that clarification that it's more like business stuff. I don't do like personal stuff. That would be weird, you know, like a weird task for you. It's not really something that would happen.
The closest it gets, I think, to like doing like what in everybody's mind is like an assistant, right? Like do whatever I say type shit is like, it's not weird. I mean, the most thing is just like, you know, like how if we're going to the airport, you know, whatever time I say we're leaving, you already know. I'm like, when I say that time, that means there needs to be an Uber XL black there at that time for all of us.
Yeah, that's the most personal that it gets.
Yeah, that's like the most personal it gets. Or if we're doing like a business meeting or like business dinner or something like that, you know that when the bill comes, don't worry, Katharine's not paying the bill, but Katharine is paying the bill with the company card.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to take the bill. I don't want to break up whatever conversation I have. Nico doesn't want to do a little bit of work. You know that the second the people come around, you're like, here you go. Just hand them the card. We don't need to look at the bill. Yeah. And life goes on, right?
Oh, and the Matrix.
The Matrix is real.
Yes. I mean, if you want to call it that, I do think that we live in what you could call. I mean, it's something that people have named. Sure. Yes, we live in a matrix of some kind.
Yeah. Well, I think we've mentioned it before, but like I tell everybody, I'm like, the Matrix is real, and they're like, what do you mean? Like you just Andrew Tate got that in your head? And I'm like, no, I've always known the Matrix is real, but you guys are thinking the Matrix as like, we're asleep in a pod somewhere and this is all a simulation. No. I'm like, no, the Matrix is the rat race. I'm like, it's the same shit. Big organizations control everything.
It's what we were talking about with the medical industry.
Yeah, it's like with the medical industry. I'm like, we all look like fools. We're going out buying things. We're chasing cheese at the end of the day. Yeah. All of us are chasing money, which is the cheese. We're chasing desires such as like lust with all the OF stuff, that's part of the cheese.
Yeah.
And
keeps you in a prison.
Absolutely. Just type in the rat race. It would blow you guys' minds if you actually sat down and were open-minded to the conversation of like you at home who are listening, who are going to your 9 to 5 every single day. I'm not saying your life sucks at all, but I'm just saying it's all part of it. That's exactly what bigger industries and everybody wants. They want you to go to work. They don't want you to create a business that's going to compete with them and you know, do all these things. They don't want you to create the cure for cancer. They want you to go to a 9 to 5, and then they want you to sit down on your phone and scroll through social media. Yeah. That's the rat race. That is the matrix to me.
And that's why we feel so disconnected in society, because people are not working for their passions. They're not working for what they love, and they're not feeling fulfilled every single day. So they start to become like zombies. They just do, they don't think. And then they don't
think anymore. Yeah,
they don't think. And then we start to go into, how can I make myself feel better? And that's when we start using substances and or food, porn, whatever it is. I mean, and we start to become prisoners to this, because
even social media.
Yeah, social media is a good one. We need dopamine from somewhere, and we're not doing the necessary hard work that it takes to be able to set yourself free.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and that's my version, my sort of very brief understanding of the matrix that we live in, and I see it around me all the time, and I was in it too, you know, for a long time. So
yeah, no, 100%. I'm just like, nope, want no parts of this. Like, once I kind of found out working for the people I used to work for and all this shit, that's why I do not go on social media anymore. Like, I know I'm on social media, I post content and stuff like that, but you guys can ask Katherine, when we go out to eat, when we're doing whatever, if I'm looking at my phone, I'm basically looking at notes or I'm putting in a note, I don't consume a lot of social media like at all. I don't go on Instagram. I don't go on YouTube. I don't go on Facebook or none of this stuff. I do not consume social media because I'm out here living my life. I'm not watching life. Like there's a big difference.
Just hopping on that, I think a lot of people are angry all the time, and that also results in, you know, this world just sort of becoming, like we were talking about earlier, people have the inability to separate emotion from logic. And that is why we have so many issues with each other. And that is why nobody, even outside of work, we hate each other. People from different cultures and races and all that, we all just hate each other because we have these ideas that are fed to us. And, you know, people don't use logic. They don't use the truth. And I think the truth is ignored. Just the truth.
Absolutely.
Like, not this emotional idea of what you have, just objective truth is just completely ignored.
Well, because the truth is not what you want.
Yeah.
That's why people don't like it.
So true.
It may not be the outcome you desired, but it's still a possibility if you change your ways. It's not gone forever. People think it's gone forever, and then you submit. That is the rat race. It's submission.
I just always encourage people to find the truth. That with anything that the answers they're searching for, do the work to find the truth to it. And you know, that's where you should base your opinions on. Just have an understanding of what you're talking about, rather than just the ideas implanted in your head from everything that you're seeing. That really changed my life.
It's getting deep here, people.
Oh, yeah,
it's getting real. A group of friends and I have been having this ongoing debate. When going on hikes, is it wise to bring a backpack compass? ? I think it's a good idea in case something happens to the first one, or you just don't trust the first one due to whatever reason. Okay.
A backup compass, so you would have 2 compasses on the hike. Okay.
You're a hiker. You be doing all that shit.
Well, I do hike, yes. I that's the best way for me to get out in nature, and also I make sure that I exercise every single day, so that, you know, a hike would be, you know, part of the weekly routine. So I do go on hikes very often, but I will say this, I am prepared, and I make sure that I have, you know, enough water, or, you know, I have pepper spray with me or something like that, you know. Compass I do not take with me, honestly, but I would say it's a good idea. Why not?
Nico's going to jump in now.
Okay, yeah, military guy.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's like, girl, you need a compass.
No, I was going to be like, why?
Okay.
I like what? They'll be like, what if you get lost? I'd be like, are you venturing the Amazon?
Yeah, it depends what you're doing.
Like, are you following a trail? Are you going off trail? Like, and at the end of the day, if you're bringing a secondary compass, that means you do not have faith in your equipment. Shit goes wrong, but when shit goes wrong, you don't need to have backup shit, because then what is your life? That means you have to have multiple shit. That would mean for all the cameras that are in here, I have another camera stand and I put all the equipment together in case it goes down. That's like living life with like worry. True. Having a contingency plan is good, but I think the contingency plan is having a compass in the first place.
Yeah.
I've been doing operations missions to where I've had my Garmin die on me, which is like my, like it's like a GPS. It can go on like a nav board or anything like that. When I was in Ranger School, I fell and I broke my compass and I had to find my way back to the instructors. But when you're hiking, do you get like super in touch with your surroundings? Like I'm very aware of where I came from, but then also I can look at the sun. I can look at some shadows. If I had a map, I can start looking at like elevation lines and everything. I'm like, I know where I'm at. I'm just going to walk back that way. But I'm never going hiking and being like, oh, I need a compass and in case I get lost or anything like that.
I love to hype myself up and be like, I connect to nature and I know exactly what to do. But no, I'll follow the road. No. For me, I can't do that. I'm terrible with directions. So I make it safe. I don't need to be adventurous when I'm doing it. I just want to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, and that's my goal for it. I know a lot of people want it to be adventurous, and that's fine, but for me that's really not the case. I just want to be outside and enjoy the outdoors. I don't want it to be stressful or extra. Like I just want to walk the trail.
That makes sense. Did you think this is where you would be 5 years ago?
No. Absolutely not. 5 years ago I thought I was useless. I didn't think I had I didn't think that I was capable of creating anything that would be good or anything that could help anyone. I didn't think I was worthy of helping anyone. I didn't think that it would be possible even to have a job like I do with you. I thought that wasn't in the cards for me. I don't deserve good things. That was my mind.
Anything is possible, people. If you want to go and do something, like just I tell them like, oh, but this, but that. I'm like, go fucking do it. I've gotten to this level of like where I'm at mentally to where it's like, and you've seen it, I'm like, I want to do this. I'm going to do it. And not a soul on this planet can tell me I can't do it. This is when I recognize like I'm happy. I'm as stern and true to myself as I am. Cause like there's very few things in my life I've like set out to do and have not accomplished. All those things, all those failures happened in the beginning of my life. But I'm just like when I was at my lowest and like all this shit, but I'm like, dude, fuck that. I refuse to be a fucking victim. If something doesn't go my way, this is the difference, I will make it go my way. You just have to, there's a difference, people, between being the victim, the villain, and the hero.
That's why cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me, because
COVID's the best thing that ever happened to me. Drives people crazy, but yeah, go for it.
I turned into a victim. I turned into a victim to my circumstances. I manifested it for myself. I was just creating this negative environment. Even before melanoma, I was doing that for myself too. I was doing it my entire life. And I only realized that when I hit rock bottom, when I was alone and nobody wanted to be around me because I was such a miserable sod.
Oh God.
And, they were just like, this is too much. And then I realized I have a choice here. Even if I only have 5 days left, let's make the most of it. What can I create today? What can I do? And that mindset, within a year, I doubled my income. I grew on social media. My body went, I show a lot, this sounds weird, but I show pictures a lot on Instagram, also for motivation, so that people can see that I know what I'm doing. I was never fat, but I had so much inflammation. I was puffy. I had acne. I was, my hair was thinner. I just looked sick. I didn't look well. And I share this, in my stories often, like, this is how I got here. I show the before and after, and my body is like toned and I'm able to do things I never thought I could do. And you can create that for yourself. You just have to stop being the victim. Just stop feeling sorry for yourself. You can do it. Where will you be a year from now if you start today?
Being a victim is a choice. I don't care about anybody. That's why I think I've said in front of you, like, I do not feel bad for people anymore, because I'm like, it's okay to have something happen and you are a victim, right? Like just you got the shit end of the stick for whatever the outcome is, right? Like we all have that happen, but to not learn from it, find a different route, find a different way, find some type of change and actively make it happen. Like to think somebody else is the world's going to get better and da da da. Like, no, you're crazy. I'm sorry. That's insanity. You have to go and do the things you want to do. You have to make the change. And it's going to suck. It's going to be absolutely miserable. You're going to think your life got worse. It's all part of the process.
I think people are afraid of failure, but if you're not failing, it means you're not doing anything.
Absolutely.
You need to be failing. You need to be feeling a little bit maybe embarrassed of what you're doing. You need to feel, you need to question what you're doing. Like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? And you need to fail. And this is not political at all. Just Donald Trump really inspires me because he has failed more than anyone I've ever seen. I mean, even his
odds
truth.
Against him, people against him. Like that's real. I like we said, and on a non-political level, fair but stern, how it is here on Brutally Honest, we're like, these are the realities that man's facing.
But he's incredibly successful despite so many failures. I mean, he became president in his first time running. That's incredible. What a success. But if he focused on all the failures that he had before then, he would have never got there.
Absolutely.
You know, so even though his truth, like it was like a Twitter version or whatever, truth failed, right? That he just like, I think they took it down recently. I think he was trying to come out with some sort of other company that was supposed to be big, but it failed.
Really?
And you know, you would think that he would be embarrassed of that, but he's not, because he knows that failing is part of the process, and he's not afraid to try. He's not afraid of people judging him for that.
No, not it is part of the process. Like some people will be, not gassing myself up right here, but some people will be like, oh dude, like I hate my life, like I'm such a failure, like dude, how did you do it? How did you become so successful? Why are you so successful? And why am I a failure? Like they literally said it like that verbatim. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, do you know what you're looking at when you see me? And they're like, person. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you're looking at a lifelong failure with a few moments of success. And when you truly change your life, this is what those small changes look like. But that's because I was at all-time lows, hated every single part of my life. I hated every single day. I failed at everything I did. And I said, it's okay. I'm going to fail again tomorrow, and I'm going to see what I can make or do better. I'm going to see why I failed. When I fail at something, I never look at like the other side of it. Like I look at the Nico side, like what did Nico do wrong? How can Nico make it better? I'm never like, why did my editor do something wrong like this? Why did YouTube give me a strike? Why did that? It's like, no. I did something here. There's something to learn from, and just don't do it again. But yeah.
Yeah. People need to know that you're going to feel dumb. You're going to feel embarrassed. But just keep pushing and keep trying, because you can't fail if you never stop trying. All
right, we got two more here. They said, do you think getting a job working for Nico was all luck? Ooh.
So, I'm gonna say both, because of course this would be it's not what you know, it's who you know situation, because you know, I came into your mind because you knew me, and so yes, that is lucky that I did meet you, and I was in LA at that time. And so, I mean, my life would be totally different if I wasn't working for you. But I think that I would say that the work that I have done on myself maybe presented well to you. And that's why you saw me as a candidate for the job.
I don't think there's an ounce of luck in that.
Really?
No, not at all. Because this is the thing. I do not believe in luck. Everything going on, for every action, there's a reaction, right? There's a path, right? You say it's luck, but I decided to go to your birthday dinner, right? I decided to sit there in silence and chill. You decided. You could have not talked to me at all. You could have been an asshole, or, you know, said something weird or blown me off, or, you know, whatever. You decided to be a genuine human being. It was your birthday. You saw somebody quiet. You were just like, what do you do? Hi, nice to meet you. You know, like whatever. Aww. But that's the thing. That's why I'm like, realistically, there's not an ounce of luck in there. Like it's fine. I feel disrespected big time when people are like, dude, that's like, how'd you get so lucky? Like, I'm like, bro, if y'all knew the amount of struggling and legit actual suffering it took to get here, like it would blow a lot of people's minds. Like I should write a book on it. Like I really should. At the end, it's just decisions and outcomes. I decided to go. You decided to be a nice person. If you weren't a nice person, is it bad luck then? If you were a bad person, if you were rude to me, is that bad luck that I didn't reach out to you? No, not at all. It's being a good human being with potential. That's why I'm like, bro, they're like, oh, that's such bad luck. Like sometimes things are just shitty and they're out of your control.
Yeah.
Pivot and do something else in the meantime. All decisions and outcomes.
That's so interesting. I guess sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky that this is my life. So I just definitely attribute it to luck, you know?
No, I'm definitely like appreciative. And I could say sometimes like, oh, it was just like luck or whatever, but that's bullshit. That's a bunch. Because I think relying, this is the thing, relying on luck is how you get yourself back into the rat race.
Yeah.
You'll get lucky, dude. That like the lottery. You could get lucky.
So true.
Lucky is not real. It's all part of the rat race. That's why I'm like, nah, it's decisions. Do you ever regret working for Nico? Oh, that's the last question. That's a perfect one. Have I ever done anything that made you like regret it?
Never.
Okay.
Well, no, straight up never. No.
No. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. I'm doing a good job then. If the people want to like check out your Instagram, you started killing it on YouTube. I know you're getting after it on your YouTube channel. What's like your Instagram and like YouTube to start for like people to come and find you if they want to check out your yoga, check out the membership that you have. They want to get involved with like the health and healing part of their life. Like where can they find you at for Instagram and YouTube at least? Yeah.
So I do have a website where you can also check out everything that I have to offer. It's literally yogawithkatherine.com. So that's simple. And, you know, people struggle with the spelling of my name, but it is all Yoga with Katherine across platforms. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm very active there. Lots of stories, lots of ways to improve your life, you know, that I just love to share with everybody at no cost. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, after talking for however the long chilling, that is it for today's episode of Brutally Honest with your host, me, Nico Ortiz, and having our guest, my personal assistant, Katharine here. Thank you for coming. And thanks for stopping by.